Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're obviously going to do a video recapping one of the fights that happened last night at UFC 280, or should I say last afternoon, depending on wherever you live in the world. And here's the deal. I would say UFC 280 probably didn't live up to the hype, and I think that's putting it lightly because of how much hype there was behind it and the months and months and months of build-up. But we're not going to talk about the whole card. That's probably going to be saved for a podcast in the next couple days. But what we are going to talk about is the feature bout of the evening at UFC 280 between the number 1 ranked former bantamweight champion in Petr No Mercy Yan and the number 12 ranked or 11 ranked, depending on however you saw it going into the fight, now 16-1, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Now going into the fight, everybody was writing off O'Malley, saying that this is such a big step up in competition, there's no way he's going to be able to hang with a guy that's the caliber of a Petr Yan. And honestly, I agreed with this. And going into the fight, if you go back and look at my pre-fight prediction, I said that I thought O'Malley was going to do better than people thought in certain aspects due to his length, his reach, and his ability to use his long, rangy frame to his advantage against a guy in Yan who is known to walk forward, who's known to be a pressure fighter, but more importantly, who's known to use that high guard, traditional style of boxing guard in his mixed martial arts bouts. And as you saw in the fight, it gave Yan a lot of issues. Sean O'Malley was able to land that long front snap kick or teep kick to the body, was able to time Yan stepping in and moving his head with a knee right up the middle, which actually cut the eye open of the former champion. And I believe that was the first time we've ever seen Yan shed blood inside the octagon. But more importantly, he was able to rock Petr Yan with a high kick and a straight shot down the middle, which actually seemed to cause a little bit of a knockdown in that fight as well. I don't know if the knockdown was counted when it came to the overall scoring in the bout, but O'Malley showed up. O'Malley showed that he has that dog in him, and he showed that maybe he belongs a lot higher in the rankings than we originally anticipated. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I picked Petr Yan to win the fight. You'd know that if you checked out the channel. But I picked him to win either by a unanimous decision, 29-28, or to win via a late third-round finish because Yan is a notoriously slow starter. We've talked about this, and I'm not the only one to mention this. He's built for a 5-round fight, but traditionally he starts slow, downloads the data throughout the first round or round and a half, and then picks up on your patterns, your movement, and the way that you angle off the center line, and uses that to run you into counters. And we saw that in this fight as well. But the one thing I mentioned was that Petr Yan needed to use his grappling, needed to use his wrestling, and needed to use his top control. And he did that, and he did it early, and he did it often. Aside from the few shots that O'Malley was able to land where he did stun the former champion, he was taken down multiple times. If you look at the overall stats, Yan landed 6 out of 13 takedowns for a 46% takedown accuracy rate. But it's not the fact that it was the accuracy rate out of those 13 takedowns. It's the fact that not only did he land 6 takedowns, but he also got 5 minutes and 44 seconds of control time. That's over a full round of control time in a 3-round bout. But going into the final round and at the end of the final round, most people in the MMA community and most people all around the world believe that Petr Yan had did enough to either win 2 out of the 3 rounds or win all 3 on the scorecards to get a 30-27. At the end of the 3 rounds, I had it scored 29-28 for a unanimous decision for Petr Yan. But as we came to find out, that wasn't how the judges saw it. The scorecards were read at the end of the 15-minute time limit, and immediately they mentioned a judge's name with the first scorecard. Whenever a judge's name is brought up, that means that it is a split or majority decision. And when I heard the first judge's name called when reading the scorecards, that's when I started to believe that maybe the judges didn't see the fight correctly. The judges read it, and it was read a 29-28 split decision for the winner in the number 12 ranked / 11 ranked Sugar Sean O'Malley. And then we all watched the world burn. Sean O'Malley had defeated the former champion and the number 1 ranked fighter after, yes, having some success, but clearly not doing enough to win based on the grappling success that Yan had throughout the fight and the over round of control time that he had when it did hit the floor. And it's not me hating on Sean O'Malley. I've never claimed to be the biggest Sean O'Malley fan, but one thing I will say is, like I mentioned earlier, he showed up. and he showed that he does belong in that upper echelon of the 135-pound division. However, he didn't do enough to win that fight.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
If a knockdown was counted in the scoring of the fight for O'Malley, then I could see maybe giving him a chalky decision. If that one point where he faked a takedown on Jan and Jan sprawled out, and then O'Malley was able to spin around and take the back to get a smidget of ground control, was a little bit longer and a little bit more effective, then maybe you could have some sort of a case. But to be honest, I don't really see any realm of possibility that O'Malley could have his hand raised at the end of the bout based on how it played out. The judges got this one wrong. And I know I'm in the majority, not the minority, because there are going to be some people out there who believe that, yes, O'Malley did more damage and damage trumps everything. And I see your, viewpoint on that. But going off the wrestling success, the ground control, the ground and pound, etc., there's no way that Petr Yan lost this fight. And if you look at the overall stats, when it looks at total strikes throughout the bout, 97 out of 139 were landed for Petr Yan, and 91 out of 171 were landed for Sugar Sean O'Malley. And when you look at the significant strikes, it shows a little bit different of a picture, with 58 out of 96 significant strikes landed for Yan at a 60% accuracy, but 84 significant strikes out of 163 landed for O'Malley. And although he has almost 30 more significant strikes landed, he threw almost double the amount of significant strikes that Yan threw. And when you look at the significant strike accuracy rate based on percentages, it is a 60% significant strike accuracy rate for the former champion and the number one ranked Yan, or formerly number one ranked Yan, and a 51% significant strike accuracy for Sugar Sean O'Malley. So if you really do look into the stats for the fight, although it shows that O'Malley landed more significant strikes overall, he also threw almost double the amount that Yan did, so it tells a little bit different of a story when you look at the picture a little bit different. And to be honest, I just can't see scoring this fight for O'Malley, and it's not me hating on him, because I will mention this again, because I know I'm going to have all the Sugar Show fanboys in my comments telling me that I'm hating on Sean O'Malley. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm just calling the fight objectively. I'm calling it from the way that I saw it from a technical standpoint and the way I saw the fight play out over 15 minutes. And at the end of those 15 minutes, there's no realm of possibility and no lens of viewpoint that you could look at to score this fight for the Sugar Show. He showed up. He looked amazing. He showed that he belongs in the top of the division. And he shows that he is a lot better than people may have anticipated. But no matter what he showed and what those, showings are going to give him in the future, when it comes down to it at the end of the bout, the only person who should have had their hand raised was Petr No Mercy Yan.